What's up, everybody? It's Comic Conversation. We're back for yet another episode, another week. It is a little bit different, however, you will notice. Today, we're actually recording this on Wednesday, the 13th. We are all out doing things, or perhaps most of us, for Valentine's Day, which is the 14th. So we decided to film this a little bit early and, post this up for you guys as a premiere. So this will be coming out at the normal time. The difference is obviously we won't have the chat with us and you guys hanging out with us as you do every week. Shout out to our regulars, our moderators, folks who have given us super chats. The regular audio, podcast version, of course, will be up at the normal time on Friday. So you can look for that, Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, all those places. So that's kind of it for the preamble. We can kind of jump right into some topics. We got some cool a bunch of HULU news, actually, believe it or not. It is Wednesday, so we didn't have a chance to read books yet. So we're not gonna have a review. A little bit of movement with some of the DC movies. Definitely want to get into a couple of topics like The Trench, for example. And a couple other topics as well, some updates and what have you. I do want to talk about something that is part of our world here, but not something that we necessarily cover a lot. Actually, two things. One is something that happened with video game company Blizzard. And then another one is with Todd McFarlane Toys. Big licensing news from them. Todd was very triumphant about that on social media. You may have seen it. So we'll talk about that. And I want to get you guys' thoughts on something that actually happened. We had a guest on last year, Peter Simeti, with Alterna Comics. Remember? Great guy, running a great indie publisher rather. And really great kind of carrying that torch, one of the last ones for the newsstand market as well. So great titles and stuff like that. We had one of the creators on as well, if you remember. So that was pretty cool. But something happened to him that kind of disgusted, I guess I'll say, by. So we'll get into that a little bit later on if you're interested in that. There's Peter Simeti, Alterna. But we'll go ahead and start as we normally do with some updates. It's been a week since we did a show, so why don't we do some updates? What's going on in collecting world, YouTube world? Anything you want to share? I guess we'll start with Comic Pop.
Oh, yeah. No, I had a bad experience this week with recorded a haul, opened some packages, and then the audio was crap. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but it's time to buy a new mic. So I'm going to pick one of those up this weekend, and then I'll be back to normal videos again, I hope.
Sound pretty clear right now.
Yeah, it's on this one, but I just want to get something away. This one, occasionally, I think it's starting to go too. It's just a little older now at this point. So.
I gotcha. I use a Blue Yeti, which I really like. If that's within,
I had the Snowball, and it was like actually given to me, and it lasted for however many years. So yeah, I'll probably just stick with like the Blue
Snowball
product line anyway.
Yeah, pretty good.
So do you have to seal everything back up again and reopen it?
Oh yeah, and then pretend to be surprised.
Yeah.
No, these I unwrapped, opened, really. So no, I'm just gonna do a normal haul, keep them separated out. But yeah, no, it was very disappointing. It's like that one time I recorded a video for 40 minutes and then realized that the audio didn't record at all.
Oh gosh, that's rough.
Dude, I told some of the best stories ever in that 40 minutes. Never to be heard. Never to be heard.
That's when those times you're on your A game, you're hot on the mic, and then
it was you don't even know. It was so good. So good. Gone.
All right, cool.
But yeah, so that's pretty much what I got going on.
That sounds good. Pun intended. Edwin, what's going on with you?
Not a lot. Got in a couple pretty huge pressing orders, so I'm going to be busy doing that for a while. Yeah, so I got to press a bunch of books. Beefing up that eBay store. Got about 87 items on my eBay store now. If anybody wants to check it out, it's StrictlyComix, one word, I think. Everything's pretty much priced at retail, but if somebody wants a deal, whatever, they can hit me up, and I'm pretty sure I can I can hook them up. But yeah, that's about it.
And it's consistent all the way through, right? So it's comics with an X on eBay as well.
Yeah, everything is the same.
Yeah. Okay. And some people might put the C, so I just wanted to point that out. So cool. I'll definitely check that out too. See what you got on there. Are you doing? Did you have to adjust your shipping at all when post office?
Actually, yes. And actually, since you said that, I need to go back and revise some older items.
Yeah.
And I got to up everything up $1 because of shipping costs.
Yeah,
I think post office shipping went up like a week ago.
I think it was like the 25th of January. It was maybe like 2 weeks ago. We went. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how it affected people who do free shipping on most of their stuff. Yeah.
I don't see how they do it. I never offer free shipping. Ever.
Well, truth be told, I think they pack it into the normal price, so it's not like really free shipping. It's just
You're probably right.
So, all right. So, like I said, I'll definitely be checking that out. So cool. And then Chris, how about you? What's going up there in Buckshot Town?
Not much. Just work and everything else. Pretty much just trying to get myself the time to make some videos and get everything back up to where I should be. But just that's kind of tough part right now. Just a lot of stuff going on. But hopefully I get a chance to do that and get back into the groove of making videos again.
Yeah.
I know I've been saying that for a while. It's just unfortunately, it's just the beginning of the year for me always starts out kind of crazy. And like this year, just because of new job and everything else, it's just been kind of like settling in with that and just getting all that together. So it's just like I swear I will put up videos. I just gotta get the time to do it. It's just acclimating to everything else that's going on is kind of crazy. But overall, though, everything's going good. So I can't complain there. It's just free time is kind of few and far between. But
we were talking about before we went live here about a con coming up. So that's something you're looking forward to, right?
Yep.
Got some good names there. We're talking about Al Milgrom.
Yep, we got 2 months out. A little more than 2 months out. But Al Milgrom, Jim Steranko, Sam De La Rosa, and Al Bellman, Joe St. Pierre. For a small one day, they went ahead and they're making a lot of moves that are really good. Like there's a lot of good stuff going on there.
Just to give you a heads up too, I know Sam and Al charge $5 a signature, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't know about those other guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I remember Al from last year. I don't know. I'm not sure what Steranko charges or what's going on with that. Well, I'll find out though. I mean, I don't have a lot of Steranko books, unfortunately, but the ones I have, I'm hoping that I can get them signed. And then on top of that, just to meet the guy, because just something about like his style is crazy. Like he looks like he's just like he stepped out of the 1960s, but dressed for the 90s. It's like and it's like he never stopped. Like it was like he was at the peak of his style at that point and just kept that up. And he's just like, I don't know, this is cool, and I'm sticking with it. So I'm just like, this guy's like he just seems like he's a cool guy. So I'm really looking forward to meet.
Here's for Steranko. This is from like 10 years ago, so maybe different, but best I could find. If you want it personalized, he won't charge you anything. If you just want him to sign it, it's $10 per signature. And again, that was from a while back, but
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Just because I mean, like I said, I mean, part of the whole treat for me is just to even be able to meet the guy and be like, hey man, awesome to meet you. And
if you get him talking, man, he'll talk your ear off.
We'll see what happens, because me and him can have a battle of words and see who talks more.
Yeah, you got to wear a blazer, big sunglasses, and slick your hair back.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever had hair just I could never style my hair like that ever, even if I wanted to, no matter what. And it's just now, especially now, I don't think I have enough hair to even do it with. I I mean,
Believe the cheese.
it's just not as not as great as it used to be. Let's put it that way.
You know who he reminds me of? He remember Don Cheadle in Boogie Nights? He was always like the guy that was trying to keep a look or a fad going, and everybody around him was just changing and evolving. He just was just stuck in his own mode.
But see, for me, like the way I look at it, or the way I see it when I like see pictures of him, it's just like, whereas other people will sit there and they'll try to do that, and like it's just like, oh, it's just getting more sad, man. Just give it up. It was, like if you see someone who's dressed like in the '80s, like like Punky Brewster, it's like, no, man, that's like go.
Wow, that was a callback, Chris.
Like, Steranko style was just like one of them things. Was just like, I don't have to. I still look cool no matter what. But like, no matter what decade he fits in.
I mean, when you're stomping around looking like you got ties to the mafia, no one's going to say anything to you, whether it's like still on trend or not.
Yep.
So all right, cool. Well, I picked up a couple things. I liked like kind of like the weird size stuff. So I'm getting like some oversized like Treasury Edition type stuff. I found Batman versus Hulk, which is a
nice
third crossover for Marvel and DC, a third official crossover, I should say. So it was pretty cool to find. And then I actually got for Return of the Jedi they had these things back in like, I guess it was the 80s. It was called Book and a Record. There's a whole ton of them.
Yeah.
It was a 33.5 RPM record, a vinyl record, and then it comes with a little book that you can read along with it. And you play that. So really cool.
I had those. Comic book ones. I had actual like books. Like I had like Hansel and Gretel and stuff like that. So I had like fairy tale ones. I remember that.
Yeah, there's tons of them. So I got this one. So now I want to get Empire and A&H as well.
Did they had a New Hope on that?
They must, yeah. I don't think they call it a New Hope. I think it's just Star Wars.
Star Wars,
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So like those kind of like more esoteric parts of our hobby. I've been kind of getting into that stuff lately. So I've got a pretty decent sized treasury collection now. So next one I probably want to get is the Superman Spider-Man one. The one where Spider-Man's on the big tower.
Yep. I remember that. Like I've seen that in person.
That's a classic. Yeah.
At a shop of mine, it went out of business when I was in middle school, but I remember that one. And that's the only place I've ever seen both of those treasuries there. And at the time, they weren't ultra expensive, but I mean, like way more than I could afford at that point. But it was just like, I think they were like somewhere about like $25-$30, and it's just like, back in the day when I had a budget of about $5, so it was just like, I couldn't come close to affording that unless I waited and saved. But I remember seeing those though, just being kind of like, oh, what's going on in this book?
They're really cool, yeah. And now they do like artist proof, so it's like still like a huge thing. They just call it something different. So you see like Witches, Walking Dead, they all have these, like, giant ones. But
I've seen like a few of those, yeah.
They're hard to find in really good condition because it's just the size, the nature of the size of it, but also the paper quality that they use was so much different and less than the standard size stuff.
Was it basically like regular newsprint?
No, it was like it's a heavier cardstock. It's a thicker paper, but it will like fade and become brittle like really easy. So I don't know if it's a lot more acidic or I don't know, because it would be oxidation. I don't know. It's just a different paper. I don't think it was meant to last.
Yeah.
So, but since we're talking about crossovers, let's bring this to our first topic. And I'm excited for this. This isn't going to hit the theaters. It's going to be out on, Blu-ray, probably obviously streaming. May hit the service there, DC Universe. But we're getting Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover movie.
Nice.
So
I love it.
DC is teaming up with Nickelodeon. It's going to be based off of the miniseries, the Tynan and Freddie Williams miniseries.
One that just came out.
Yeah.
The first one. Yeah.
Yeah, the first one. So,
but the comic book was so successful when the first 6-issue series came out. It was so successful. I mean, I think number one went into like 3 printings.
Yeah,
or 3 or 4 prints or something like that, and then it was so successful they did a second series. And I read the first one. I have the second one. I haven't read it yet, but it's so good, man. I think people just absolutely loved it, and I know Batman is way more popular than the Turtles, but I think it's good for the Turtles because I just don't think since the 80s they've been, you know, as popular as they have been since then.
Right. But the people who have stayed with them are diehard, you know, like they'll
Yeah.
watch, you know what I mean, all of it, you know.
Yeah.
Except
I
the
mean-
base stuff, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean the tough part with that audience is just that, you know, depending on where you stand with, like, you know, the Noah movies and this and that, I think the one thing that you can kind of come back to is the comics and stuff, and you think, okay, you know, new Turtles comics, I'll pick those up. You know what I mean? Oh, they're with Batman, pretty cool. I mean, just because if you know, to go back and get the you know, original, you know, of the series is so expensive. It's just like, you know, so it helps that it's done well, and you know, I wonder to myself if it's gonna be kind of, because Nickelodeon's on there, if it's gonna be kind of like more like kind of like in the style of Batman Brave and the Bold, where you have, you know, just kind of more cartoony like style, but really well done and well written episodes. So
yeah, I'm thinking like a Batman Adventures type of feel.
Yeah.
But is Kevin Conroy going to be the voice? I didn't look at it.
So it's funny. I was just going to mention. So the synopsis is follows the Turtles meeting Batman for the first time via a trans-dimensional encounter. They're going to team up to face the Rogues Gallery. So Troy Baker is actually going to be both Batman and the Joker. Darren Criss, who was in that Gianni Versace series, if you saw that, he's going to be Raphael. A couple other people. But then you're going to have Batgirl, Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Tara Strong as Harley and Poison Ivy. You're going to have somebody playing Bane. And then Ra's al Ghul is another guy. And these are all from like Reno 911, SpongeBob, The Expanse, SNL. So they got some pretty good names in terms of like, you know, voice cast attached to this. So I'm definitely going to check it out.
Oh yeah, no, this. I mean, the books were fun. I mean, they got Batman to eat pizza in the Batcave. So
Yeah.
I can't beat that. So yeah, this will be something fun to watch. Hopefully, it's done well. I mean, this is this guy's first time doing Batman now.
Yeah, Troy Baker. I'm not too familiar with him.
I'm not either. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's good.
So here's, I don't know if this is going to be the actual, you know, style or not, but I saw this, and this definitely looks like, you know, kind of like animated thing. So tell me if you think.
Oh, okay.
Like that's kind of what we're talking about, you know. That sort of like, you know, a little less detailed, but still pretty slick. Kind of style, you know.
Yeah, and it seems like it's kind of like a mix of it's definitely a mix of both the Nickelodeon style and kind of like, you know, the DC, how they like to I would say it looks like kind of like a mix of like Teen Titans and the Ninja Turtles.
That's a good way to put it.
That's not bad.
Yeah. I like, all right, so they gave Batgirl the new costume. Batman's got like kind of a vintage Batman costume going. And then Robin is basically wearing Damien's outfit.
Yeah, that's like a
Damian.
I bet you money it's not Damien.
Probably Tim.
Yeah, I bet it's Tim.
They all got white eyes. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, looks pretty cool.
Be good.
Yeah. So okay, cool. So there's that, and then the next thing. Let me just close out of this. There we go. Okay. I guess we can get into. Well, let me just mention this real briefly before I forget. This is kind of sad news to me. So we got Dark Phoenix coming up pretty soon, allegedly. And Olivia Munn said, "No, I will not be back as Psylocke." So she was one of my favorite parts of Apocalypse, even though she didn't really do much or say much. I just like, you know, the on-screen look, I should say, of Psylocke. So
you're a fan of the character.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So you know, it's too bad. That movie definitely is continuing to test very badly with some test
Oh,
audiences.
really?
They've
Was
done
that
like reshoots, they've done like changes to it, pushed
wow.
it back a couple times to fix things, and it's still testing horribly. So, yeah. There's that, New Mutants, and Hellboy, which are going to be like the 3 movies that people are like, sure, it's superhero movies, but like, are they going to be good?
Mhm.
Like, sound like they're going to suck. So,
Well, I mean, the toughest part with Doc Phoenix is just you don't have enough of the established characters in the cinematic to get them over. Like I mean, even in Fox's, what they had going on. I mean, you don't have any of the Shia, already presented. You don't have any of, you don't have a lot of that whole like love triangle with Wolverine and Cyclops. It's just like you don't have I think a well enough established Nightcrawler and Colossus, because they were also in the story and everything. Like it's just there's too many elements that they just haven't figured out yet for it. So it's just like what are you actually getting? You know what I mean? Just because it's not going to be the same, and it's just because just I mean, if you go to the source material and look at it, it's just like, I mean, especially if the test crowds of people that have grown up and read those comics, if you're doing a bad job with it, then of course I'm gonna be like, yeah, no, this thing sucks. I'm not paying money for this.
yeah, exactly.
So
get
it together, man.
So what to say? So yeah, all right. Hulu's got some stuff coming up. We'll get into some of the Marvel stuff, but the first thing that I want to mention is there was talk of this being on Fox. Obviously, we know what's happening with Fox and Disney, right? That should be finalized pretty soon. So a lot of that stuff is kind of either canceled, up in the air, or confirmed to have transitioned. One of those is none other than a Alien TV series from Ridley Scott. And they're saying that it's going to be on Hulu. So that'd be pretty cool. And also apparently the way it's set up is that it's going to be kind of like right before the first movie, and it would take place on LV-426, the planet that they went to. And that's kind of the time period there. So yeah, I know we had like Prometheus and Covenant that were way back, but this would be a little bit further along in time, and kind of like how Rogue One butted up against the end of the first movie, or the beginning of the first movie. I kind of envisioned the way they're describing it, that this TV series would be kind of like that, that story would lead right into the first movie.
Right. Well, we know that. Well, I mean that's kind of good because it puts a definitive end on the series. Yeah. Like where this is going.
Right.
Bad things are gonna happen.
That's right.
So I think for that, but yeah, it has to be like a limited run, like 2 seasons. Something like that. Like it.
Yeah, you can't drag that out.
Open-ended,
Yeah.
You don't want to be like 4 years prior to the events of Alien, and we start there. It's like crap.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because you know how that series finale would be, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? They set out the distress beacon, and then it cuts to black.
What's funny to me is I remember, and it sticks with me now because it's just one of those things where when you do a prequel, you have to like. It's funny as you leave it, kind of like I mean, a lot of people want to pretend like, oh yeah, like so this is a cliffhanger. I can leave it off at this. I remember going to see Oz the Great and Powerful, and they left it off, with like that ending of, all right, so Oz is now taking over. He's gonna go ahead and run. He's gonna go ahead and run the land and be the power in charge and everything like that. And this woman, when I got out of the movie, this woman's like, yeah, she's like, I wonder what they're gonna do with that, because I mean they definitely left it open for a sequel. I was like, yeah, they did. It's called The Wizard of Oz, lady.
Yeah, right.
You don't know where this is going. But like it is funny how some people will like kind of be like, oh, like I wonder what they're gonna do next. It's like this is gonna lead to Alien. You should realize that. But yeah, I mean, like that's kind of cool. How they want to do that. I mean, if Ridley Scott's involved, that can only be a good thing. What I think though is just that the finale or the final season is where I guess you're gonna get paid off, but it's gonna be a little morbid just because what happens next. It's just like, I mean, and they cut it off before the aliens kill off everybody, but still you know where it leads to. So if it's done well, that's gonna end up generating some more people to be like, oh, like, oh, maybe watch this into the next movie, and then into Alien, and be like, oh, like this is cool.
Right.
So
It'll be interesting how because obviously when the Xenomorphs get there, they pretty much fuck shit up pretty quick.
right.
So if they do 3 seasons, what are they gonna do with like the first couple seasons to like
I
definitively like say, aha, this is an Alien franchise? Like how do you do that without the Xenomorphs being there just yet?
Well, the thing that I'm curious is how, like, I guess how tightly in canon Prometheus ties to aliens, because I know that it has ties to it completely.
Yeah, they were like getting really into the mythology with the engineers, I think they were called, and all that stuff. So
I wonder how they'll tie that, because maybe you have to tie some of that into it, and kind of make that like, okay, so this is how we get up to where the Xenomorphs are and all the rest of it.
What if there's a predator there?
That'd be interesting. Well, that's what I was just gonna say, man. I mean, what are you gonna do different that you haven't done already? Because you have to. I don't know, man. You have to wow people nowadays. I mean, we've seen almost every type of alien there is so far.
Yeah,
but the other thing is
we're like, yeah. We've
the
seen.
other thing that's gonna be a really expensive show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm thinking too. It's going to cost them money to put. I mean, because even if it's CGI Xenomorph, I mean, you got to figure costume and set design just alone is going to cost them a lot of money.
Well, it'll be I kind of see it as like Star Trek or something where they're in the corridors and stuff. Yeah, a lot of that's just going to be that type of thing. Yeah. My mind's going right now. Just
I mean, it's really exciting though. That's actually really good news to see that something like that's going to come.
Right?
Out.
Yeah, I'm glad they're continuing along with that. It's kind of been struggling.
Yeah.
In terms of fan reaction for the past couple, so seems cool. But since we're on Hulu, we also have news. The CEO of Hulu. Well, okay, let me back up. So once the Disney and Fox merger goes through, right now, they each have 30%. Merger will give Disney 60% of Hulu, controlling share, in other words. So they were talking about, what's the future there? Like they were saying that the CEO, and I forget the person's name, but basically was saying, oh, Marvel has a ton of properties that we would really be interested in. A lot of people took that to mean maybe the Netflix stuff. But they're like, yeah, we're like ready to go with, a ton of franchises. We just got to get the go ahead from, I guess, Jeff Loeb. Maybe it does. I don't know, because it's streaming. If that's still, it must be still Marvel TV. So Jeff Loeb. So we're, waiting for that to come through. But then shortly thereafter, we got announcement of four things coming. They said meet Marvel's The Offenders. So they're gonna have a couple different things here. Yeah, so MODOK, right? Hit Monkey, Tigra, Dazzler, and Howard the Duck. And they're gonna kind of follow I guess the Netflix model. So they'll culminate with a special called The Offenders. So that should be pretty interesting. These are all gonna be right there on Netflix. They're all animated shows. Yeah, they'll have Jeff Loeb attached to them. So yeah, I guess I mentioned that right.
MODOK.
Yeah.
MODOK seems so out of place in there though, because MODOK isn't really a comedic character. You know what I'm saying? That like, I mean, if you go back to who he, I mean, maybe nowadays he is, but I mean, if you go back to his origins and stuff, he was actually a really tragic character.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe MODOK has a sense of humor now. I don't know. I just think he's just kind of the one that just kind of stands out a little bit, where it's just like MODOK. Okay.
Yeah, interesting choice, right?
But I guess without having like Deadpool in there, it's just like, I mean, you got to throw some money in. So I mean, maybe his will be the sleeper, where it's just like, yeah, you didn't expect him to be funny, but guess what? He's hilarious.
Right. So descriptions also of note here, what's interesting is who's writing them or producing them.
Yep.
So for MODOK, do you know what MODOK stands for? Pop culture.
Something about killing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a few different things, but mobile organism designed only for killing.
Yeah.
He's from Tales of Suspense 93, and then 94 was the full appearance if you want to spec on it. But it centers around an egomaniacal supervillain with a really big head and a really little body who struggles to maintain control of his evil organization and his demanding family. And it does sound like it's going to be funny. This is going to be written by Patton Oswalt.
Oh,
who's
nice.
also EP. Yeah, he's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then Hitmonkey, Hitmonkey appeared in issue 19 of Deadpool from Daniel Way's run, right?
Yeah.
Tells the tale of a wronged Japanese snow monkey mentored by the ghost of an American assassin as he cuts a wide swath through the Tokyo underworld in this darkly cinematic and brutally funny revenge saga. So it sounds like they're going comedic on these, and that will continue with Tigra and Dazzler show. So that's one. Two woke superheroes is what they're calling it. So
no.
As they fight for recognition among powered people who make up the 8 million stories in LA. Chelsea Handler is writing this one.
Really?
Yeah. All right.
She's writing that?
Chelsea Handler. And then you got Howard the Duck, which we know is funny, right? Trapped in a world he never made. America's favorite fighting fowl hopes to return. Hit up with Beverly again before the evil. And this should tell you who's writing it. Before the
Kevin
evil
Smith, right?
Dr. Bong, can turn him the crispiest dish on the menu. And you're right, it's Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy. And then those will all culminate in the Offenders. They're all forced to team up in order to save the world, and it doesn't say here who is who's writing that, but I guess I don't know.
If I had to choose from everybody who's involved, I would say they should let Patton and Kevin Smith do it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with Chelsea Handler. I just don't think that she's her show is the only one though that kind of makes me like, oh, okay. Like if there's a weak link in the chain, and not because she's a bad comedian, she just, I mean, she's had a couple of projects that have come on, within the past couple of years that just haven't done so well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she's, I mean, maybe seven. I mean, but it's been her, like starring her and stuff like that. So it's just like maybe stepping out from in front of the camera and just going behind the scenes. Maybe that will help things out. But I'm just kind of I'm gonna, I guess, save judgment. But that is one where I'm like, okay, if there's gonna be one that's kind of like not as good as the rest, I feel like that's gonna be it.
Yeah, I think that Kevin Smith one for me is tops, and then the Patton Oswalt one sounds really funny. Patton Oswalt is actually the voice of what's it called? And Happy, the little freaking blue dragon thing.
Yeah. Well, he also I mean, he's a funny dude because he's like really into comics. He's really into sci-fi and all that. I mean, just because all you have to do is just kind of go through like some of his stand-up and like different appearances and stuff. Like if you haven't seen it and have the chance, look at I think it was called the Star Wars Filibuster or something like that, where he basically goes for about 10 minutes just talking about everything that has to do with Disney and Star Wars and Marvel all at once, and he's just like I mean, he just keeps going and going and going. I think it's a deleted scene, and he just goes to the point where he's just like rattles off this whole big just crazy plot, and then he's like stops. He's like, "Can I please have some water because I literally have no motion left in my mouth." I think it's like about 9 minutes straight. He just keeps talking and won't stop. It's hilarious. But
on the there was Spider. Well, actually, okay. So to your point, I was looking up. So Veronica Mars, Dr. Dementor, Kim Possible movie. Happy is the dragon's name in Happy. So he did that, which is obviously from a comic. He got he played Uncle Ben and Chameleon on the TV series Spider-Man.
Okay.
Right. He voiced Adam in Teen Titans Go to the Movie. Mint Condition and Spy Kids. Space Cabbie and Justice League Action. So like see where I'm going with this? Like,
Yeah.
he's got a long history of
Absolutely.
Mowgli and Ghostbusters VR. There was one else. Bill Koenig in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Alan Shapiro and Archer. I could just keep going on and on. Kiss Cam Operator on American Dad.
I mean, he could literally. I guess if you're looking for a personified version of the comic book guy from The Simpsons, like that, he's the guy. Like he. I mean, minus the whole long hair and the beard and everything. Like he's literally like that type of just I guess you would call it comic book sci-fi culture type of person. Like he's involved in so many different things. So
there was a show that I used to love. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was so good. It was actually filmed here in Miami. Burn Notice. It was so cool.
I've watched it, but I've heard of it.
Oh my god, it was cool. Yeah, it was really good.
I love that show.
Yeah.
Of course it had.
He was one of the guys.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. One of the later seasons. He kind of joined in. Yeah.
He's in Reno 911. That was actually really funny. Like his turn in Reno 911 was really good. The movie. But yeah, he's a good funny comedian.
Yeah.
Goldbergs. He's the narrator in the Goldbergs as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, he played Joel on Dollhouse. Did you ever see Dollhouse?
Yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's cool. Oh, he played Toymaker in Batman TV series.
Yeah, like he's all over the place.
Yeah.
And he's just really funny. Really, really funny.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so if you want to well, I give a couple. So Howard the Duck would be, if you want to speculate on any of these, so people like to do that. Adventures into Fear number 19, which came out in 1973. I would also, if you want to spec on Howard, pick up Howard the Duck number 1. Right?
Yep.
That's usually a good one to have. And then I don't know. Dazzlers, 129 and 130 are obviously good books to have, regardless of the show.
Yeah, but ain't Howard's first appearance in like Man Thing or something like that?
Yeah. Adventures into Fear.
Yep, that's right.
I mean, there's one other book I don't remember exactly, but it's just like it's a book where it's like a crossover book where it's just like basically there's 2 versions of Howard. One is the real version, one's the fake version. And I remember reading about the story and everything, and it's just like it's kind of a rare book, but it's kind of funny because like a lot of people have suggested that when the Marvel heroes went to go grab Howard from the universe that he was trapped in, they grabbed the wrong Howard. So the real Howard the Duck is somewhere out floating in some other universe, and and the one that's here now is just not the real Howard. It's kind of like a weirdo like clone or bizarro version of him.
So. I like the idea. I think there's a lot of potential with Howard the Duck. I know that the movie from the 80s didn't do the greatest, but as a kid, what
involved?
Huh?
I think George Lucas produced that or something. Like I'm pretty sure.
That was like
I don't know, but I saw when I was a kid.
Movie.
Well, yeah, but I saw when I was a kid, and I mean, when you're like 12, 13 years old, I loved it.
Yeah, I always thought the part where she hooked up with him, the human. I'm like, what is going on here?
Right.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Right. Bestiality going on.
Yeah. So okay.
My thing with Howard the Duck, is it gonna be here on Earth or is it gonna be like on his planet?
You gotta tell an origin story about him, right? Because his planet is shaped like an egg.
Well, it says it kind of the cat whatever, trapped in a world he never made. So it sounds like he's already trapped on Earth based on this. Or maybe the pilot will be that like trip. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I'm trying to see and make sure. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for that. No word on if the Netflix stuff will transfer over. Who knows? Right now, it's just all pretty much. I say all, but I do understand that Punisher and Jessica Jones haven't gotten the official axe yet, but come on, let's be.
What's gonna happen?
We know what's up.
Yeah. So that should be coming up pretty soon. So there we go. So there's that. Speaking of, we talked about kind of the Hulu stuff, possibly following like the Alien, for example, following kind of a Netflix model. So that's my transition. So the next thing kind of follows along with the Conjuring model. Excuse me, James Wan. You know, there was the Conjuring, and then we're like, hey, that doll's cool, and that nun looks pretty scary. Let's make movies out of those. So James Wan obviously did Aquaman, and by the way, there is a writer, confirmed for Aquaman 2. But everyone's like, yo, that trench scene in Aquaman was pretty dope. That was cool. And I agree, it was really cool. So then James Wan's like, well, you know, it worked for Annabelle. Why don't we do a trench spin-off movie? We're going to go ahead and do Underworld, like sea monster movie. So it's it's in development, and I'm using air quotes here. You can't see me. And that kind of means a lot of things come and go from in development, as we've learned on this show. Like, we'll announce something 1 week, and then 2 weeks later, we're like, oh, that was chopped. Yeah, so the trench is something that they are potentially making. Like I said, James Wan can't confirm or deny it. But I wanted to ask you guys, does that seem like it's a weird direction to take? Because, I mean, they have to do 2, at the most, probably 3 kind of franchise films a year, right? Like, you have just a couple a year. So that's going to take up one of those huge spots. And if they're trying to kind of change tack into a different direction for DC Universe, and I guess they're going for less of a connected model. But this is
a bad way to go.
Yeah, this is like sure, do Supergirl or do whatever, revive Joss Whedon's Batgirl, but the trench, that's like way out there.
Well, what are they going to do with that? They're going to have Aquaman in it, otherwise we're not going to care.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
right.
I could see we would know, but like it could be a WB movie, but it doesn't have to have like the I don't know. I call it because we got the Suicide Squad, the Batman. So the DCU kind of banner to it, but we would know it came from Aquaman. So I don't know.
Yeah, and that to me, I mean that would be like if in Star Wars, all right, so you know, A New Hope comes out and they're like, all right, the next movie is called The Sand People. It's just like, for what? Like, does it have anything to do with? No, we're just gonna make a movie with the Sand People. It's like, I'm just gonna be like, dude, this is. Like, why? Like, I mean, okay. Or there was just like, you know, Star Wars, Stormtroopers. Okay, Stormtroopers. But there's no, no Vader, no Empire other than just the Stormtroopers themselves. And whatever battle they're fighting has nothing to do with the Rebels, outside of the fact that, like, they need someone to shoot. But,
or like the Jawas just going around collecting stuff, and that's all you see.
Yeah, exactly. Jawas.
Star Wars story.
It'd just be like, you know, so I mean, they better flesh that out, you know, with some stuff, because if not, then it's just like I don't know. I mean, how do you get anybody excited about that?
Yeah, I'll say this. I do like the idea of it. You know, like underwater, like kaiju. You know, these like crazy monsters. And I don't remember where I heard it, but they could do like this cool story, like backstory, where it was like kind of like a body horror type of thing, where they used to be humans and they got like mutated into these like crazy creatures, you know, something like that, which would be cool. But the part that's holding me back from this whole idea is it's, I don't know, like the whole DC universe connection, you know, like I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where they go with it, for sure. But again, it's still technically in development, so it may or may not be made. There's Slate. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, this is probably one of those things where maybe right now, just off the heels of Aquaman, somebody high up thinks this is a good idea. But once they really start working on it, maybe somebody's mind will change.
Yeah, true. They're like, hey, you know, Aquaman did over $1 billion. How can we run with this? Yeah.
This was cool. We can make a whole bunch of action figures out of all these guys.
Yeah.
Interchangeable parts.
I'm trying to look up, because this has changed so much, even like really recently. Flash is dead. I'm going to go ahead and say that movie's never going to be made. the guy who does Barry, he's tied up with all the Fantastic Beast stuff anyway. So even if they wanted to make it, he can't even do it. So you got Shazam coming out obviously in a couple months. You got Birds of Prey in 2020. Joker is coming out in this year. That's the Joaquin Phoenix one. You got Wonder Woman coming out also in 2020. So they're doing probably looks like 2 a year. And then we get the 2021. Yep, that's the Matt Reeves Batman. We don't know who Batman is yet. I have my picks. You can go watch that video. That's 2021. And then this is one that I want to talk about as well with you guys. The Suicide Squad is also 2021. So kind of based on that, it looks like 2 movies per year. That'll get us into 2022, which would be, whatever else. And I guess some of the stuff like the DC Super Pets we were talking about, that'll just go like the spillover or whatever can go to the streaming service. But
did you say the Suicide Squad will not have Harley Quinn in it?
Correct. She's not coming back for that. Also, Jared Leto was going to be the Joker in a movie. Remember there was going to be Joker and Harley or something, like a Mad Love type of story.
Yeah.
That's shelved as well. So this is their current.
Is Will Smith going to be in the new one?
So here's the thing. It's James Gunn now, right? And he wants to use it's the second Suicide Squad movie, but it's not really going to be like a true sequel because, and this is like true with the comics too. He wants to use a new cast, a new team.
So like another unit almost.
Exactly. So like it's the Suicide Squad, but it's not a follow up. So it's not going to have like Will Smith and it may have Rick Flag or whatever. But I almost said American Flag. That's Howard Chaykin thing. Completely different. So I actually want to ask you guys, who would you pick for a new team for the Suicide Squad? I was thinking Killer Frost would be cool. Right?
Yeah.
It could be like the new Harley.
Yeah.
Bronze Tiger would be cool. And then like I'm thinking, okay, James Gunn, he's probably gonna kind of like do like a Guardians-y type thing. So I was thinking, well, what about Detective Chimp? could be your new Rocky Raccoon. And I don't know. I just wanted to kick it over to you guys.
They could throw Arrowhead on there.
Yeah.
Actually,
Arrowhead. What was their name? Was it Cupid? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Whatever. Female DC villain that shoots arrows.
Chica.
No.
Well, Dr. Light.
I'm trying to think of who the powerhouse character could be. Kind of like the powerhouse like Killer Croc was.
Yeah.
I mean, one who pops in the mind right away kind of is I can't pronounce his name right, but he's a Batman villain that Taylor, something like that. He has like the mind of a child, but he's like just big. I forget his how to pronounce his name.
I think Livewire would be a good one. Because her popularity has really gone up over recent years, and I think it'd be good to have her seen on a on the big screen.
Pretty cool. What about Vixen?
Yeah.
Why is Vixen in prison?
Because
that's a good point.
She clawed somebody.
Not supposed to have heroes on the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. I guess she's tied up with CW, right? They had her on there. So.
Yeah, they had her on there and the animated show too. But I don't know. I haven't watched this season of Legends of Tomorrow, so I don't know if that character's come back at all, or I don't know.
Oh yeah, she was on Legends. Yeah, so
I'm not that well versed in all the DC villains for me to come up with a team.
I mean, I mean, you literally just have to pick. I mean, any group of villains. I mean, for the most part, because I mean, the Suicide Squad, as far as they're concerned. I mean, like people have like little small parts with the team, and then some people hang around for longer. But
Oh, here's an idea. This would be cool. Sergeant Rock instead of Flag.
that would be cool.
Right. There was talk a long time ago with Sergeant Rock. So Arnold Schwarzenegger wanted to make a Sergeant Rock movie. And that was right around the same time. It was like they had the set and everything. So you actually see, I think it's in The Predator. He's reading, when they do the intros, he's reading a Sergeant Rock comic book. And that's because he was doing his research for the Sergeant Rock movie. And he just had that like with him on the set. So that was his prop. So a little Predator trivia for him.
You know who should be on it? But they probably won't do it. But for Powerhouse, you could do the KG Beast.
Oh, yeah.
Beast,
Good one. Good pick.
Another character, not so much for Powerhouse, but I mean later on he became strong villain was Dr. Light.
Yeah,
that'd be cool in there.
You think they would do something like King Shark instead of what's his face?
Although I mean, that might be a little bit too close to Croc. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's so many people they can choose from.
Yeah,
I mean, really,
Cheetah, and that would help tie it to the Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah,
right.
That wouldn't be bad. Throw Cheetah in there.
Right, there's a little connection.
What about this to tie it into Batman? James Gordon Jr.
Yeah. How about Joker's daughter? Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. There's a lot of female villains right there.
They could even do Ravager if they wanted to.
That's true. We just put together like the dark Birds of Prey.
You're right.
Joker's daughter would actually be a good one, I think.
I actually don't know how they do it. I mean, because let's say they go outside of the law part. Then let's say that they're just able to capture this guy. For Powerhouse, he would be kind of a cool thought. I mean, Suicide's not going to scare him, but let's just say that they found a way to capture him. Would be Solomon Grundy.
Oh yeah, born on a Monday.
They found a way to capture him, and not so much control him, but like I mean, that's something else you have to try to work out because you can't kill somebody who's already dead. But I mean, maybe they have some type of magic or something that would keep him in check. But that would be cool to see Solomon Grundy on the screen.
Yeah, absolutely. So, because we Killer Frost, Solomon Grundy, I like that.
I think Parasite would be a good one.
Parasite.
Well, that's more of a Superman. I'm not bad.
Yeah,
they could put Yahya in there.
That's what I was saying. Is that how you say his name?
It's Yahya Abdul Mateen. He was Black Manta. So you already have him like on screen already, kind of like underused, if you ask me. Use him there. It'd be good. Right. Sean Ryan did it.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be good. I just feel like they're going to use Black Manta for the next Aquaman movie.
Yeah.
It was so cool when they just didn't use him enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of an afterthought.
How about Slipknot? Not the band.
Slipknot the first one, I thought.
Was he?
Didn't he get blown up for trying to just?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yep.
I'm gonna escape. No, you're not.
Yeah. Where's he gonna blow your head up? Yeah. Yeah. So Killer Frost, KG Beast,
Solomon Grundy,
and
then Livewire was
Livewire would be cool. Yep.
And so was Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Joker's daughter.
I mean,
Ron Tiger.
And it's good to have a lot of different names because aside from the accidental death of Slipknot, it's just like it would be good to see some people actually end up getting killed, just to kind of show like, all right, like this isn't all fun and games, like people are gonna die.
Well, and then to replace like Deadshot, you could just have Sportsmaster.
Yeah.
as like the leader or something, or like the the experienced one, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, that would be a good mirror for that type of character.
I mean, they could also too. They could also bring some people back that weren't like, super prominent. Like you could bring back Captain Boomerang. Like I don't see why. I mean, at least have somebody who has some sort of tie to the first one back in there. So if you brought back Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, Red Flag, and Captain Boomerang, all right, there's those three, and then
Garrett Flag. I want that.
Because if you think like Boomerang didn't have a lot of time to really get to know everybody, he just kind of was like
boom his rings.
He just was kind of more like all right, I'll play nice because Amanda Waller's telling me to, but now it's just like, okay, maybe he's worked with them and gotten the rapport between those three, and it's just like, all right, you're on the team, and now throw these other guys together and see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like Snyder, or even Joss Whedon with his Justice League was putting together Legion of Doom. So like Deathstroke, obviously Black Manta, Joker, things like that. So maybe they could sort of parlay that into a Suicide type squad. I don't know. We'll have to see. It's interesting. But they couldn't do that, I guess, because it would be a different Joker. Leto's not coming back. And Joaquin's a one-off type thing.
But that's why I think, when you got Joker's daughter, that could be a good supplement. I mean, she's kind of filling in for the Joker, just a female person.
Yeah. Get that familiarity there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, hopefully some of our picks are correct because they sound pretty damn good to me. So, all right. So the next thing I wanted to mention is in the video game world, Blizzard, Activision's like this big company, right? They did obviously Fortnite, Call of Duty, they did Diablo, if you remember that.
StarCraft.
Yep. Overwatch is one of theirs. Black Ops is one of theirs. RDR, big one that everybody likes, like Red Dead Redemption. So they're actually laying off a ton of people. Tons and tons of people. It's kind of tough. Like there's a lot of like lawsuits with Fortnite. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but they're taking they said that they did well, but not up to their projection, their forecast. So they're and Anthem is another big one, right? That's EA, actually, right?
Don't know.
Who does Anthem? I think it's EA actually. Anyways, it's kind of like what's going to happen with Blizzard. We saw what happened with like the Star Wars stuff, right? Just talking about that. So it's an interesting time in the video game kind of world.
Yeah, I don't know what that means for them. If like they're laying people off, maybe they grew faster than their projections meant to be, something like that. Like I don't know if it's I don't know if it like is a signal that like the company's actually in trouble, or if this is just them restructuring. Like we don't need all these people now. Like especially in like a video game industry and things like that. Like once the codes are made and things like that, you don't necessarily need all those people anymore because a lot of people can just manipulate what they've already got.
Yeah, it's true. CNN had an article where basically they said for Fortnite it's so big and so popular that they can't keep up with it. So that's crazy.
I think, and it's funny too because I remember like going to school for game design and everything like that. Like, you get to know a little bit of how things work and everything like that, and layoffs are really that commonplace in the game industry. It's just what happens. I myself, because when I got out of college, I actually worked for a small company up in Boston that ended up sadly we were working on a game, and a month after I had gotten there, they just the company that was the parent company just decided they weren't doing that anymore, and then so myself along with everybody else that worked on the studio all got laid off. I mean, It just was what it was. And I mean, so when you have someone big like Blizzard, it's tough just because, you know, someone like that, I mean, a big company like that, like, I mean, everyone feels those ripples no matter what, just because it's just like, all right, you have all these people that are highly qualified, some of them highly qualified, really good, you know, that are out there looking for jobs now. And it's just like, you know, so if a big company like that also, on the other side of it, if a big company like that is laying off, you know, a big chunk of its force, I mean, forget all the people that are just coming out. It's just like, you have to figure everybody else who's just out there looking, you know, it makes an impact. Because it's just like, okay, what's going on with these guys that are having trouble? Like, that's not good. Like, does that mean a downturn in just gaming in general? Has something changed as far as like how people, you know, how people want their games given to them? Are people like going over to a different medium? What's going on? So that you know, that's always kind of a shocker throughout the entire industry. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot more that comes of it. And you know, and on top of that too, a lot of angry feelings, like you said, like lawsuits and this and that. So because if they were wrongful in what they did, I mean, yeah, you can have a lot of people, you know, looking to try to get, you know, some type of I don't want to say vengeance, but just definitely looking to get some type of closure that, you know, can help them and their families as they're looking for their next, you know, gig as far as, you know, leaving Blizzard. So
the lawsuits are kind of funny because it's basically like, hey, you stole my dance move.
Okay. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, because I think about that, I think about back to what was it 38 Studios, that, because I mean that was like local to me, the Kurt Schilling studio that he had made down in Rhode Island. And I mean, they had hired so many people, they had done so much stuff and everything like that. And then when they finally did end up, you know, dropping everybody and just closing and folding, like, I mean, there were people that were really just in a bad spot after that. So like there was a lot of lawsuits and everything that came from that. But we'll see, because I mean, Blizzard still, I mean, you think of Blizzard's name, it's just like all these, you know, Diablo and Warcraft and World of Warcraft, StarCraft. I mean, all these like huge games that they've had. It's just like, you know, it could just be something where it's just like, you know, it's been so long. I mean, you know, they had their hit with you know, with what was it? What was it? Overwatch, I think was the other one that they had.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, I mean, but they've been able to ride their success for so long that they haven't had to put out like a ton of games, and maybe that's starting to catch up to them. Where it's just
they're like in cruise control right now, you know.
Yeah.
Or where
exactly. And it's just like, you know, it's just like maybe I mean, that might have worked out the 90s and the early part of, you know, the 2000s, but maybe now it's just like, no, you got to keep up, because if you're not going to keep up, I mean, like you said, you have a free game like Fortnite that like everybody's playing now. So like a lot of that Overwatch crowd is either, you know, splitting their time with that game, or they've just outright left your game and gone to this one. So
yeah,
who knows? I mean, and Activision's kind of a tough one too, just because Activision, they're kind of notorious as far as like some shady work practices and stuff like that. So they're not in good company with that.
Yeah, that's some breaking news.
Yeah. Oh, that's huge. I mean,
news. Yeah,
that's crazy news. I mean, you think about just from gaming in general, like that's a big spot. And so whoever's gonna take up that void is I mean, that could change, I guess, the type of games that, you know, become popular going forward, just because you know, what the initial market is not provided anymore. So it's like, you know, what else is going to be there? So
that's true. That's a good point. So cool. Okay, this just came through. So I know Justin especially. What? Chris, do you like Star Trek?
Or you more? I grew up watching a lot of it. I'm not a huge fan, but I you know, I know enough about it to be like, okay. So I've watched all the movies. That I can say I've actually watched every single one of them. So I'm in for this.
I've watched all the episodes of all the TV shows.
Yeah. I haven't done that.
I've got you beat by like 2,000 hours.
Anybody can have me. Like if you watched past Deep Space Nine, you have me destroyed, because I haven't seen anything since that. Like, we're talking a long time ago.
Dude,
my Star Wars, like, you know,
watch Voyager.
Episodic. Yeah, I mean,
what's the news, good sir?
Okay, so it appears that CBS and Nickelodeon are negotiating for a new Star Trek animated series
Oh wow.
that will be on. Wait, did I say Nickelodeon?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so it'll be on Nickelodeon, not CBS All Access.
Oh, wow.
A lot of the plot details apparently are under wraps, but this is going to be written by the Hagmans, which you're like, who? So they did Hotel Transylvania, Lego Movie, Lego Ninjago, all those types of films. So to kind of give you an idea of, I guess, the feel of it that they'd be going for. So it would also be a tentpole series for Nick. So they in other words, they'd put a lot of effort into it, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty cool. But it is aimed at kids, so it'll be kind of lighter on the
Right.
science aspect, I guess.
Right.
So it's the second. It would be the second animated series because we have Lower Decks coming out, which is going to be on CBS All Access, but that's
Mhm.
geared more towards adults. This will be
Right.
more like for the kids. So
Right.
Wait,
And I know that they had mentioned that they wanted to do a second one. So I think it's smart to partner with Nickelodeon. That gets it way out there in front of a lot more people. Putting
Right.
it behind the paywall of CBS All Access
yeah,
would have hurt it, you know.
that's been my thing with it. Like, you know, you're trying to get this franchise out there, but you're limiting it by putting it there. But you know, like I get, like, I don't know, it's tough because like I think we all agree that's basically the wave of the future, streaming,
Oh, yeah.
whether it's a paywall or not. But it's going to be, you know, over the top streaming. You know, cable packages are like the way of the past these days. You know,
Right. Oh yeah, no, I definitely think it's going to be, but like, it's still like it's especially for something that small, for something that direct, to get it into the hands of a big channel with a ton of viewership.
right?
Will go a lot further, and plus it seems like with names attached to it, and it wouldn't be a tentpole. You know, it seems like they are going to give big effort to it. So,
Right.
I'm excited to see it.
And if you're a Star Trek fan, how cool is it right now? Because you get Discovery, you'll have this, you'll get Lower Decks. There's a Picard series, and then we also recently learned about Michelle Yeoh's series for like Section 31 and stuff.
31.
Yeah, so that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different series based on Star Trek.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, so
That's crazy.
we
Yeah,
may have talked about this, but maybe we talked about it over on Comic Frontline with Jay. But yeah, it's just going to get to the point where they're going toward year-round Trek.
yeah.
So, I'll be cool with that.
And for a while, they were like, we were scraping by with barely one thing a year and like large gaps where there was nothing, you know. So I guess
How long we went? Well, yeah, but we went from Enterprise to Discovery without a TV show.
Wait.
Yeah.
Enterprise. Yeah, Enterprise to Discovery. Yeah. I was thinking of Next Gen. I was like, well, no, DS9 overlapped with it, but yeah.
So what was that? 15 years?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And now, boom, here's everything.
Right.
So, yeah.
Seems to be working. Cool. I'm excited about it. I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what's crazy with that too is that you're saying that Nickelodeon. I remember the very first animated cartoon that they had done for Star Trek was on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, it came out like how long ago was that? But yeah, Nickelodeon used to show like replays of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like that's where I remember seeing it. It was like, and it had the original cast too, which was pretty crazy. I mean, it came out. I want to say following the close of the.
Yeah, it came out in the 70s.
Yeah, but it was pretty cool though. It was like, wow. So I mean, just the fact. I mean, I don't know if they planned it like that, or if it was just like, you know, oh no, this would be kind of cool and nostalgic, and if you were around, you know, to see that back. I mean, because for me it was like, you know, in the 80s and 80s, I guess, / early 90s that I used to see that. So I used to remember that being on. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Nick's making moves. We were just talking about the Batman TMNT crossover. Right, that's WB.
Yeah, they're doing all those stuff.
Yeah, so they're making some moves.
Yeah, good for them. They need to.
Yeah,
stay relevant.
Exactly. So a couple quick things. Well, one quick thing. We were talking about lawsuits. Trying to do my little transition pieces here. Red Sonja's on hold. That's basically what I want to say with that. Bryan Singer's stuff is like getting to be too much for them, so they're like, we're gonna we're gonna shelf this till that kind of blows over. And then we'll talk about in a second the toy news, which is pretty cool. Ties into what we were talking about recently with like the changes. There was the layoffs with at Warner Brothers, right? The 8 people that they let go, and then some restructuring, like DC Collectibles is no more, basically. So we'll talk about that. But I wanted to mention to you guys, and maybe you heard about this, but the thing with Peter Simeti. So he does, he's publisher, founder, president, whatever, of Alterna Comics, right? Had him on the show, did a great interview, really great guy. Really truly cares about comics. We could definitely tell that, the way he does it. Yep. He does a weekly, I guess it's more than weekly, but he has his own YouTube channel where he talks about Alterna. He talks about like the publishing side of the business and, those types of things, which is pretty cool. And he is, I guess the term is Comics Gate adjacent. So he's kind of like tied with that. So he has kind of the negativity from that, but also, the viewership from that too. So he's kind of got, it's an interesting, it's like the brackish water, it's like the salty water and the fresh water where they mix, that's kind of where he is in terms of, the climate. But anyways, he was on a stream the other day talking about comics, and people, you guys, this is a comics, right? But somebody decided to take it way too far, and he was what they call swatted. You know what that is? Yeah. So somebody got his address, his phone number. They called the police pretending they were Peter, and they said that he stabbed his girlfriend and he was suicidal. So the police basically stormed his place. I don't know if he's at an apartment, house, whatever.
Yep.
Luckily they were able to determine what it was pretty quickly, but understandably that's pretty scary. You'd be really shaken up from that, and agree with people or not. At the end of the day, it's comic books. Like, really, you take it that far? That's ridiculous and really shameful. Whoever did it,
You see a lot of that in the gaming community. Like people, I remember seeing people having stories where it's just like, they're playing a game against somebody, and then someone says something that pisses somebody off, and they just go ahead and be like, okay, find out where they're at, and then just same deal. Like, I killed somebody, I'm gonna kill myself too, and then all of a sudden, and there's videos of it. All of a sudden, the cops show up and they bust in and they're like, what's going on? And poor person on the other side of it's just like, I was just playing a game. I don't know what's going on. What happened? So
it's crazy. Someone doesn't like what you say, or like, I guess another version of it is what they call deplatforming. Basically what happened with James Gunn. Like, he said something, somebody doesn't agree with it, so I'm gonna go dig up some tweets, and that's gonna be the focus. We're gonna get you kicked off of here. No one's gonna listen to you anymore. Because I don't agree with you, but I don't have a proper counter argument. So instead, I'm gonna go do this to you, so you can stop saying what you're saying. That's basically what happened.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, I'm speaking for myself. I don't know about you guys, but I don't care what side of Comics Gate you lie on. Something like that is just like completely unacceptable and way too far.
It's crazy because
it's just wrong.
What I'm thinking about when they do something like that is that, like, what happens if that goes wrong? What happens if it's not like, oh, we just show up? What happens if it's just like, the situation just ends up being blown out of proportion and
but he gets shot and killed.
Getting killed, yeah.
He had no idea what's going on. People running into his house or something,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's a horrible situation.
But like, so let's say, in a situation where like he decides he's a defender, someone busts in, I shot, boom, boom, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, you shot a cop, like, you're dead now, like, there's no, and it's just like, I didn't know you were, like, why are you here? You know what I mean? So it's just like, no one thinks about that. Like, everyone just thinks that, oh, it's hilarious. Like, it's just like,
and what it's going to have to come down to is they'll have to pass legislation or some type of law or something, and like really crack down on like penalties for that and ways to track people. Which, I mean,
because everyone's life is in danger, including, not just the person who is having it perpetrated against them, but like, the police and everybody who are going over there to try to think they're stopping. Their lives are in danger too. I mean, to an extent, it's just like, you look at it because they don't know what they're walking into either. So it's just like, it really
they can already get the person for like false police report and
oh yeah,
stuff like that. So
absolutely.
hopefully they know who it is.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in terms of the situation, like just in that moment, it's just like it's such a dangerous thing to do, just because there's so many things that can just go wrong, and it's just like at that point too, everybody involved outside of the person that called them, made that fake report, everyone else is innocent, and it's just so wrong to do.
Yeah, that's crazy. So
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully that will. Hopefully they'll find who did it. I'm sure they're doing an investigation.
I mean, they should definitely be able to trace that back, and hopefully it's not something where somebody did something stupid, like paid from a call from a payphone or some type of phone that can't
good luck finding a
payphone.
Where do you see payphones anymore?
We go to like the museum for
that.
I saw one. I literally seen one. I mean, or just to be more, I guess, up to date, if somebody called from like a burner that like has nothing that just a prepaid phone, okay, that you can just throw it in the trash and not be linked to. I mean, that's definitely not what you want to have. I mean,
that would like really indicate premeditation, like like that they were planning it before he started his stream, like before he said something they didn't like.
I mean, you never know. Just because that's the thing, to get in the heads of someone who would do that. I mean, you don't know. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's just what this person does for fun. It's just like that's something that makes them laugh, or just something that like that's how they solve their problems. And it's just like, so maybe they have something. I mean, because it's not you can just walk right into I mean, I think even now, I mean, you might even be able to walk into like 7-Eleven and get one. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, those prepaid phones are just about everywhere. So it's just like you can go to any store and just be like, okay, yeah, let me get this phone. All right, put this, and then make a call, and then you disappear.
Crazy. That's a scary thought. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it really is something that, like, I mean, I think for something like that, like, there should be more of a trail to it, just because. I mean, it's so easy for someone, if they want to do something terrible with it, that they can. It's just like, but if you have their credential, if they at least have to provide some type of identification or something where you can keep a record of, all right, this guy bought this phone at this time and this is his information, then at least you're responsible for what you do on that phone. And it should be that way, just because, I mean, you're responsible for what you do on your cell phone. If you have regular service, you can't just call up and just start doing whatever.
Yeah.
So
yeah, pretty wild. So let's move on to our final topic for this episode, and that is Todd McFarlane. So Todd McFarlane, obviously, his big focus, above and beyond image, with like Spawn stuff, is toy line, McFarlane Toys. They've done everything. Obviously, Spawn, the Walking Dead stuff is all McFarlane Toys. So all that stuff, right?
Sports figures.
Right. Yeah. NBA, all that stuff. Right. So there's that. And then the other piece of it is what we were talking about recently with some shakeups with DC, some layoffs for some of the VPs. We also learned at that time that like DC Collectibles, like in-house, like toy making collectibles, would be stopping, and that would be moving on. And that brings us to this news. So McFarlane Toys has just acquired rights to two things from Warner Brothers. That would be Harry Potter line and DC. Right. So here's the thing. So it's not exclusive. The way DC decided to do it, instead of doing it all in-house, is to kind of split it up. So McFarlane Toys will be doing kind of like all of the branded toys and figures, but kind of more like collector stuff, like
higher quality stuff.
high in line, more like the adult audience. There's a company called Spin Master, so they're gonna do like more of like the mass market stuff. They're taking over in 2020, so there's a transition period there. And then Mattel, they do like the younger stuff, like the superhero girls, right? So they'll be continuing with that. But McFarlane Toys is known for like the detail and all that type of stuff. So they're doing all of the DC stuff like in that capacity. So that's pretty huge news, I think.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know why they didn't do this before. I was thinking not too long ago, I was like, I wonder why they don't team up. This is probably like a year ago, and I was thinking about this. I don't know why McFarlane Toys doesn't team up, because he makes toys look cool.
Yeah.
And I think this is long overdue, but I think it's a great idea. And I think that I've always believed that McFarlane has always had a good relationship with DC. Maybe not so much with Marvel the way he left, but maybe all that's changed since then. But I think it's a great idea, not only for I think it's a great idea for both parties. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
I think that really what sticks out, I guess, from what he was doing before was that, like, I mean, he was only really doing like you know, if it was comic related, it was really just like image properties. He was like, you know, like how you have Walking Dead and stuff like that. And
Well,
then
he did whatever whoever would let him do stuff. Like he remember he did the Nightmare on Elm Street.
well, yeah, I was gonna say, like,
he was doing anything that he could get licensing for.
well, yeah, licensing for like movies and stuff, but comic wise, it was pretty much just straight out image. But I mean, but and for him, it's just like, you know, it's I think it wasn't so much he himself that didn't get you know, that didn't reach out to them. It was just like, you know, I mean, he knows his product, he knows what he's put out there, he knows, you know, he's got like all these different licenses from, you know, sports to, you know, movies and stuff like that. So it's just like, you know, wait for them to come see him, because I mean, he knows what he puts out there, and it's just like, so as that's going on, it's just like, you know, if you really want a high quality toy, come see me, you know, because I can do that for you. And I think that he being, you know, the man that he is right now, and then now they have an opening, why not just hop on and say, yeah, you know, I'm fine with licensing out, you know, doing some toys for you, doing some stuff, just because, I mean, he does high quality stuff. I mean, and so it's going to be really cool to see, you know, his take on some of these. I mean, like I think for me, being excited to see is like the Batman figure he's going to make.
Yeah.
I remember, you know, when Spawn first came out, my cousin actually ended up getting the toy before. He got the toy, and then I ended up getting the comic book after that. But he got the toy, and it was just like, you know, just, I mean, better than anything I had grown up with. I'm like, wow, this is cool. Like, this is a really awesome toy. So it's just like, I mean, he's just had that, you know, that high quality, you know, just build and toy making since the start. Like, I mean, he knew that, you know, getting his action figures out there was what he wanted to do. So excited to see some of what's going to come across, especially, you know, Batman, you know, and just other, you know, really cool iconic characters, you know, being done in a high quality way. So looking forward.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Walmart exclusives and Target exclusives.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, because he used to only be in what, Toys R Us, right? And now that they went under, he's got to find a new place to sell them at.
Well, I mean, it's all over the place. Just but yeah, just to have store exclusives, certain characters that can be, you know, like, you know, and the good part too is that he can, you know, put that out there with, like, to coincide with releases of different, you know, franchises that are going on to, you know, the streaming service or movies and stuff like that. So that's going to be really cool stuff.
I know GameStop sold McFarlane Toys too.
Yeah. Imagine this would kind of enable, loosely, it would be a stretch, but now it's in the realm of possibility. But Batman Spawn type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
He also said, just in something I was reading, he said that he might have some prototypes ready to reveal this summer for San Diego.
Nice.
So we wouldn't have to wait too long to see what he's got up his sleeve. You know?
You gotta figure he's gonna have probably, like, you know, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, at least prototypes ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that seems to me like I mean, that would be academic. It's just like, okay, here's the three that we, you know, here's, you know, the Trinity right here. Like, this is what we have, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, we're gonna, you know, just go crazy with the ideas and what we're gonna go forward with.
Knowing Todd, he probably already has like molds or ideas that he was like ready to move on as soon as they said yes, you know.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, yeah. if he's bringing him to San Diego, like he's gonna generate as much excitement as he can for Series 1. Like Series 1 is gonna come out with a lot of hype to it, so it's gonna be pretty cool to see what goes on with that.
Yeah, I think we're all excited for that. So, all right, cool. So let's go ahead and give some shout outs, final thoughts, plugs if you got some. Start with you, Chris. What you got coming up?
Well, I just gonna try to get some more videos done, put those up, and get everybody to check out my top 10 list for books for this year. Starting off a little slowly than normal, but just trying to get back into everything. So I'll have that stuff going up later on this week, close to the weekend, to try to get back in the groove of everything, and just kind of speaking about the cons I'm looking to go to and everything like that. So the spring and summer is going to be pretty cool as far as the different things I'm looking to do heading into con season. So I'll be talking about that and just kind of showing off some books and getting myself back into the whole role of showing off the halls and having some fun with this.
Awesome. Be looking forward to that. Cool. Edwin, what's going on with you, man? Up in the future?
Not a lot.
The
Just
eBay store.
Yeah, continue to beef that up, and then I'm actually looking forward to Dallas Fan Expo because John Byrne is going to be there.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
and I think I don't know if it was Chris or Manny NYC was telling me that he was basically just like only way you get an autograph is if you bought his book or whatever.
The Star Trek one, right?
Yeah, I don't know, and I'm like, I don't care. I'll buy it. I'll buy 5 copies just to get those.
To amend that. So last year he had said that, and I think now he might be able to enforce that this year. But I think last year when they had signed him on originally, I guess that wasn't part of the deal. So they talked him into being like, look, you can't really sit there and be strict like that on people. Like you have to let them sign books because people they bought tickets to see you. So
they don't know that because otherwise you need to put that in your promotion when you're promoting this individual. Like, hey, he'll sign, but you have to buy a book or whatever.
Exactly. It's like new book's cool and all. Like, let's promote it, but let's be real. They're coming for your X-Men stuff,
Exactly. And I don't understand that. Like, dude, nobody cares about your Star Trek book or whatever.
I think for him, he just for him looking at it, it's just like I need to promote my new stuff because you guys gonna buy that because that's putting food on my table. The X-Men stuff that was years ago, So I think
he just charges for a sit, dude. He could easily get $20 a signature.
Well, that's the thing. Now he's kind of funny because he
let me have the writer and the artist on this book sign.
Which is probably more than his book is that he's trying to actually sell.
Well, I think if I remember correctly last year, I think he refuses to sign it. So if you're going to get anything signed by him, you can't get it graded. Like he will not sign it graded. Like
CBCS Red Label, baby. That's what it's for.
Yeah. So he said that he's like I will not sign. I will not witness anything. Like he can't do that. But he signed 10 books free.
Really, that many?
Yeah, 10 books.
Wow.
Free. And now it was if you were there with 5, if you were there with multiple people, it was 10 books per group. So I mean, if you went with 5 people, 2 books.
I'll tell my wife to go way down there or something.
Yeah, it's just it's just one of those things where 10 books. I mean, whether he holds true to that again, I don't know. But I remember though, that was actually kind of a really awesome surprise to find out that he was there and he was actually gonna go ahead and just sign 10 books. That was great.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So if he's still gonna do things in that way, Dallas is gonna be fun for you. It's gonna be a great time because that I guess very hard autograph to get, or it has been for a while.
Yeah,
hasn't been in the
con. Swore off the con scene. Yeah.
Yep.
That's my highlight so far for 2019.
Nice. Yeah, that was cool news. I was like, I wish I was Dallas.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, Justin, what's going on?
Just
more Ravnica stuff.
More Ravnica magic.
Yeah, I see those boxes.
Magic. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I would probably go. Last week I did go and play Friday Night Magic. That was a lot of fun. I went 3-1, so that was a good time.
Cool.
But yeah, like I said, definitely gonna try to get gonna get a new mic this weekend, and then get back to churning out videos because I'm like weeks behind, and books are piling up, and gotta talk about some stuff. You know what I'm talking?
Well, hopefully you'll get it Saturday, so you'll be that mic will be hot and ready to go for Sunday morning comics. Huh?
I know.
Maybe.
Sunday morning comics hot.
Oh, so bad. I was so mad that like you record a whole video and then you can hear me, but there's like some kind of electrical something in the background the whole way, and there's no way to clean it out. It's so disappointing.
The worst time it can happen is during an unboxing because you can only unbox it once.
Well, you say that. I know we've all made videos where we open it and put it back.
Right.
Oh, that's
Sometimes
funny.
you just want to make sure everything's okay.
All right, yeah, no surprises.
Yeah.
So.
But big thanks to everybody watching this. Post live, I guess it will be when it's premiering
as a premiere,
and stuff like that. As it premieres, of course, we really appreciate everybody, and just fun to talk about comics and the industry and what's going on in the world today.
Exactly.
Valentine's Day to all of you. That's right. Because it will be Valentine's Day when this premieres. So, if you've, given yourself, if you've gone ahead and taken care of business like you're supposed to, as far as the Day of Love is concerned, then come on. And if not, then I don't know. Just good luck in your relationship after that.
That's right.
Whoever
thank you for your dedication to the show.
Thank you dedication. Like we appreciate the dedication to the show. Just
take care of you too.
Don't pull no crap like buying your wife a Hulk 181. Pretend like it's for her.
Yeah, that's like Homer Simpson bought Marge a bowling ball with his name on it, knowing she hated bowling.
Yeah. I just I wouldn't even do that because I know what would happen. My wife would rip it right now. Like, what the hell is this? I'm like,
right in the trash.
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
Right in the trash. That's funny. So I got for my channel just more of the same, stuff coming up, topics and content and videos and whatnot. So yeah, trying to do like this obviously, and then at least one other video per week. So a total of like 2 things. We also, just so people who are listening know, we got some stuff that we're working on kind of behind the scenes. So I'll be excited to roll that out, later in the year. That's pretty much all I can say about that right now. But stay tuned. Definitely, keep watching. Next week we'll be back live on the day. So this is cool. Thank you for being one of those first people to watch this as a premiere or later. And if you did, let us know. Drop a comment on any of our channels. What you thought of it. And we'll be happy to respond, feedback, whatever it is. I'm excited to hear, or just input on any of these topics that we talked about. Also, social media, like Edwin mentioned, eBay, but also Twitter and Facebook, all those things. We're everywhere. Instagram,
Yep.
Definitely look for us there. And that's pretty much it for today. This has been Comic Conversation, episode number 100 and something or other. So there you go. And we will be back next week. So thanks for joining us, and see you next time.
Have a good one, everybody. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.